One of my favorite things about the fall, especially when the kids were little, was to go to the apple farm, get the pumpkins, pick the apples, and then leave with those delicious warm cider donuts and really like eat them the minute we walked out. But anyway, we love those, and I haven't really been to an apple farm in quite a while, so I thought, I'm dying for some cider donuts, I'm gonna make them. So I Googled a recipe that I feel comfortable with, and I have not done it before, but I figured why not record it and let's see how it goes, hope for the best. So mistakes included, here we go. First step is to take 3 cups of apple cider, the fresh kind. What other kind is there? What am I talking about? First step is to take 3 cups of apple cider and warm it in a saucepan until it reduces down to 1 cup. And that is supposed to take about 20 minutes. So what I thought I would do is measure out 1 cup first so that I can see what 1 cup would look like in my saucepan. So I'm going to put that in here, and then I'm going to just take note of about how low this needs to reduce to get to the 1 cup mark. So I'm eyeballing it, and I'm trusting my eyeballs, and now I'm going to go with the other 2 cups. Whoa, okay, it's getting close to the top. So I'm going to bring this to a boil, and once it starts to boil, I'll lower the heat and let it simmer for about 20 minutes until it goes down to that 1 cup mark. Okay, be right back. Well, that was more than 20 minutes, but it needed to boil down, and it was taking a long time, but I got there. So I'm going to pour it into a measuring cup because now I have to let it cool off, and I want to make sure I got it down to a cup. So let's do this. I'll put it right in here. Hope for the best. Wow. Pretty freaking good. I mean, close. All right, so that's a cup. Now, the recipe explained that the reason it has to, you can't just use 1 cup of apple cider instead of starting with 3 and then boiling it down to 1, is that it needs to be a thicker consistency. And when you boil it down, that's what happens to the apple cider. So I've got this, I'm going to set it aside and we'll get to the next step. In a small bowl, we are going to combine 1 cup of sugar with 1 tablespoon of cinnamon. There's 1 cup of sugar, and there is a tablespoon of cinnamon. And give that a little swirly swirl. Now I can imagine what this is for. I'm going to set that aside. Okay, 3½ cups of flour. 1, 2, 3½ 2/3 of a cup brown sugar. I'm going to use my 1/3 cup just because it fits in here a little better. 1, 2. 2 teaspoons of baking powder. 1, 2. And ½ a teaspoon of baking soda. Let's mix that all up. I like that I don't need a mixer for this recipe. One less thing to take out and wash. So we need ½ a teaspoon of nutmeg. All right, let's get that tossed in. Now we're going to take 1 stick of butter and soften it. Now I will add 2 eggs and whisk them in. So I'm going to do it in a separate bowl so I don't get any shells in there. The only time I get shells in there is when I don't do it in an extra bowl. That's how that works out. So I've got my whisk. Make it nice and creamy. Now I'm supposed to add to the butter the cooled apple cider. It's not quite cool, but I'm going for it. So we're gonna pour the apple cider in. Now I pour the cider mixture over the dry ingredients and blend. Probably should have started with a bigger bowl. Let's see how this goes. So that's how it looks. It's very sticky, and I think maybe when I refrigerate it, that will eliminate some of the stickiness. So I'll do that for about, so it says an hour. I don't know if I'll make a full hour, but I'm going to refrigerate it until it gets cool. And I'll be back. I realized as I was about to put this in the refrigerator that I forgot the cinnamon. So I'm going to shake a little cinnamon in right now, and I'm going to mix it. I mean, you know, what's the worst that could happen, really? I should have mixed in about a teaspoon of cinnamon earlier into the dry ingredients, but that's okay. I'll do a little more to make up for my mistake. I told you there would be some mistakes included. And as usual, I do not disappoint. Now it smells even better. Now I'll refrigerate. It's only been about 20 minutes and I have no patience. So I put it in the freezer for 5 minutes to speed it up. And I'm I'm gonna go for it. So let's go to the next step. Meantime, I do have my oil heating up over here. I basically filled Hello. I basically filled up my Dutch oven today with oil, about maybe a third of the way full. And it's been heating up. Now, I don't have a thermometer. It says to heat the oil to 375 degrees, but I don't have a thermometer for that. So I'm just gonna have to do trial and error. If it seems too hot, I'll lower it and then wait a few minutes and then we'll try again. Hope for the best. So here's my dough. It's a bit sticky. I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm gonna try, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm gonna try and make a shape that looks like it would be the size of a donut. Let's get some flour on this board. There wasn't very clear instructions about this part, so I'm gonna just press it. And then I have these cookie cutters. I'm gonna make a shape, and then I'm gonna make a hole in it. So let me flatten it. Can you see what I'm doing? I really don't know what I'm doing, so maybe I should try one first. So I'm gonna make a donut hole, and I'm gonna take the donut out, and maybe I'll just throw it in and see what happens. Let me make a couple. That looks pretty good, actually. I'm rolling it about the size of a meatball. I'm pressing it in the floured board to make like a round shape. And then I'll make my hole, push the hole out, and then I'll have a donut shape, in theory. All right, that looks good. Oops. Before I go too far along, I'm gonna test out these 4 in the oil before I make the rest and just see if it's the right idea. So let me just wash my hands. All right, there's my first donut. Let's see what happens. Just gonna drop it in. Not sure if it's supposed to float. I'm gonna commit to a couple, so I'm gonna drop a couple more in. Okay, it's floating to the top. So I'm gonna go with all 4. And while I'm holding them, I'm trying to make them not so flat. Just by kind of going around the sides to make them a little puffier. Yowza. Okay. That looks good. And, oh, I'm gonna flip them. Oh, look at that. Take a look. So I flip. I'm feeling excited. I think it's working. Yay! So we do this roughly for a minute on each side, and then we remove them. Oh my goodness, they look so good. I'm gonna take this one out and show you. All right. Does that not look like the ones from the farm? I think so. Yay! Oh man, I am excited. Let me get the rest of these out and then I'll dip them. And flip it over. Oh my goodness. This is so exciting. Wow. All right, let's take this one out. Now I'm gonna come over here and do the sugar so you can see. Hold on. All right, let's pick this one up. Boom, put it in there like that. Okay, that's good. And then I'll just lift it out with a spoon. So it said to work with a small bowl, but I'd recommend a larger bowl so that you can maneuver a little better. So much for the small bowl idea. Large bowl would be, a larger or medium bowl would be better. Oh my goodness. I think I did it. But we won't know until we try it. So I'm going to take one now. I'm going to cut it so I don't burn myself. Let me take one of these. I'm going to take the first one. Let's cut it open. Take a little piece. Let me show you what it looks like inside. Yay! Let's see how it tastes. Mmm. That is delicious. I'm pleased. I'm gonna call that a success. I'm gonna start doing my donut holes now. I'll be back. Here is the outcome, and they look amazing. Donut holes and donuts, just as good as I used to get at the farm. And this is what they look on the inside. Here's one broken in half, so you can get a good look at it. So cakey and delicious, and they smell so good. And that is it. So I'd say we nailed it. Thanks for watching. Bye.
I think you're headed for a breakdown.